Brittany.
I'm Paige.
And we are Brit and Paige's Excellent Adventures, and we are going to tell you about our 2023 trip to Albania.
So we arrived at the Tirana airport and we visited just Tirana, Albania. I know there's a lot of other cities that are really popular travel destinations. We're only going to be able to speak to Tirana. And when we arrived at the airport, there were no rideshare apps in 2023. My understanding is they do have some rideshare apps now, but we were able to take the taxi from the taxi stand at the airport, and it was fairly reasonably priced and pretty easy to negotiate. And then we did take a taxi one other time while we were in the city, and that was a bit of an adventure.
It was.
The man who drove the taxi, the whole thing was like $4, and it was not expensive, and he was super nice, but he didn't speak English, we didn't speak Albanian, and we were trying to show him our phone, or we kept showing him our phone with like pictures of where we were going and the address, and we kept kind of going to the wrong places, and eventually we were kind of driving further out.
I think we and her both eventually thought we were just going to end up stranded on the side of the road and having to figure something out because we could not communicate.
And right about when we were about to give up, we got there,
Yes.
and then we all clapped.
No, we did. I'm clapping now, but years later.
We clapped. We all got there.
It was clap worthy.
It was. So that was kind of an adventure, and really not bad, other than I was like, okay, we'll just get out, we'll try another taxi, eventually we'll get somewhere, we're not going to be stranded. But it was at night too, so I think that's probably why we even took the taxi in the first place.
Yeah,
and
that was
a little
why.
bit more why we were concerned. But they have rideshare apps now. So, we stayed at the Hotel Wagner.
Yes, we really liked Hotel Wagner. It was a very nice hotel. We stayed with my sister who, and they brought us, so we would all have beds. They brought this, we had to pay a little extra, this cot up to the room. And it was actually very comfy. I did not know a cot could be that comfy. When I think cot, I think like, ugh. That was really good quality and really comfy. They also had an amazing hotel breakfast. We love the hotel breakfast there.
And she has a lot of food
I
allergies,
do.
pretty severe ones, honestly.
Yes. So it's a really big deal for me to be able to eat the hotel breakfast, and I was able to eat it, and it didn't make me sick. So this was
kind of huge,
exciting to me,
and it was really pretty. It was still wintertime, but you could see where they had windows overlooking like landscaping, and it was still kind of green, and it was really, really nice. And we would strongly recommend the hotel. And it is a bit pricey, but it wasn't so bad because we got a smaller room and then had the cot brought in.
Yeah.
And we all slept really well. And the hotel was fantastic. In terms of sightseeing, we didn't do a whole lot. We walked around. They had a park. We went to the park. And we also went to Bunk Art 2.
Yes.
That
was very interesting.
Apparently there is a Bunk Art 1 and a Bunk Art 2. We didn't actually know at the time there was a Bunk Art 1 even. But anyway. Went to Bunk Art 2, and you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was basically a nuclear bunker for the higher up government officials of the communist regime of Albania to stay in the event of a nuclear attack. That has now been converted to a museum. And we actually went to something similar in Poland recently in 2025. And I ended up, it was like a guided tour, the one in Poland where I had headphones on. And I ended up just taking my headphones out at one point because I found it like just too scary and stressful. Whereas this was just kind of fun. And you like saw like, you know, the uniforms they wore in the communist regime. They had a room with like an old typewriter and old phones, what your offices would have been like then. They had a room where they were like acting like it was bugged, like during the communist regime because they had the secret police.
They were trying to talk about how they, you know, had to deal with being spied on by their government, their neighbors, things like that.
And this guy, we didn't know him, but we just kind of started talking to him and his friend who are visiting, I think one from the Netherlands and one from Brazil. The guy from Brazil got really interested in where these bugs were, and he was like standing on the desk trying to listen in the ceiling.
Now, I mean, it was supposed to be interactive. They were like, can you find the, you know, I don't know, 10 bugs in this room? And we decided, because that man looked really hard. I think some of them had gone away.
Yes.
I don't know what had happened to him, but I don't think there were 10 there. Because if there had been, he would have found them.
No, he would have.
But we had a really good time.
We had a really good time.
And definitely interesting, and really it didn't feel, and I mean, you know, there's different points of museums. I mean, I don't think a museum that makes you feel so stressed out that you have to take your headphones off is necessarily bad. You know, I think it can be a learning experience, and, you know, bring home the gravity of some of the situations that we've had throughout our history. But it was also kind of, you know, nice to have one that was a little bit more lighthearted, and it was almost like walking back through time.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So it was interesting, and you could, you know, read about some of the problems that had happened and things that the people had to endure, but it didn't feel so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So we, you know, if we ever go back, which we actually hope we do, we're going to try Bunk Art 1.
Yes, we'll report back on that.
So obviously we've already are mentioning that we would like to go back. We will have to be 100% honest. We did have some customer service issues that we weren't expecting, because, and one of the reasons I'm mentioning it in the video is that you know, might be prepared, because you know, and I see a lot of videos about how overwhelmingly friendly the people are in Albania, and I do think that's true overall, but we also had some problems, and, you know, I think it's good that you might not be completely blindsided if this were to happen to you. The first time it happened to us, there was a grocery store in the mall. This seems to be very popular in Europe, that they have their grocery stores in the mall. And we'd been there before, but we went again, and we got ready to check out, and the girl at the register was like, just kept shaking her head and be like, you know, and we're like, and there was no other, you know, attendant to check out, and we're like, we're supposed to go somewhere else. We were confused. And then eventually another girl came up and rang us out. And I thought at that point, okay, well, she must be, you know, just closed, and we didn't realize that there's no light to turn off. And but then the next person that came up, she just checked them out right away. And I mean, I thought it was strange at the time, but I didn't think it was going to become a pattern. And I'm not saying it happened a lot, but we had similar experiences at restaurants and various places. So, yeah, we had some issues along those lines. Lots of friendly people too. So it was not by, you know, by all means everybody. But I will be honest, I mean, this is the first time in my life I've been refused service places.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about how much I liked it, that I'm considering, I still want to go back. Yeah. But that was an issue. I really don't know to this day what the issue was. I don't know if they thought we were possibly a part of their gypsy population. We don't know, but it happened enough times that it was
like
a pattern. It was enough that it was not just a one-off, somebody having a bad day.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many other people that might affect, but for every, you know, there were many really, really nice people we encountered, and we did have a good time. One reason we had a good time, it was truly affordable.
Yes. Which
is not nothing. I mean, you know, when you can have your money go further, the amount of stress you feel is just so, you know, just a lot less stressed out.
Yes. No, we went to the spa at the hotel quite a bit, in part because prices were cheaper, so we really enjoyed that.
Yes, we were able to get some massages, and those were really good. We didn't stumble upon it until the last night that we were there, but a little bit behind our hotel was a whole bar street.
Yeah,
and
we didn't see it till the last night.
We went back. We would definitely want to check that out as well.
Among my food allergies, I cannot have alcohol because it's
she's pre-diabetic.
Yeah, and it makes me really sick. So we're sometimes not as interested in bars as other people might be vacationing because I can't drink for medical reasons. So.
And I drink some, but pretty lightly. But and I would have liked to, you know, we might check out a bar when we go back, which apparently we think we're going back.
Yeah.
One thing, Americans can go to Albania. I had to double check it as of now, which is, what is today? June. We're going to go June 28th of 2025, thereabouts. Yeah. You can still stay a year on a tourist visa. Which is basically you just show them your passport, which is pretty amazing. And Albania is super well located. It's close to Italy, it's close to Greece. So if you were to kind of have a base in Albania, you would be able to very easily travel to a lot of other interesting destinations. And so I think that's really attractive about it as well. Oh, super walkable.
Yes, very walkable.
There were some buses, but we really, other than that night, we got a taxi because it was after dark, and we did feel safe there too. That's important to mention.
It was
as well.
just kind of like, we're from the U.S., which is very not
Should
safe, and we're like clutching our pearls. Should we get a taxi?
Yeah, but you know, I did not. People were walking around on their phones. People had purses. Nobody seemed to be concerned about theft or. I mean, I'm sure it happens. It happens everywhere, I think. Yeah. But on the whole, we felt super safe there. And it is definitely somewhere, despite the customer service issues that we had, that we would consider going back to.
There was an earthquake one night we were there.
Oh,
it wasn't really an earthquake, but it was an earthquake to us.
It was a tremor.
It was like a tremor. We talked to people about it at breakfast, and the Albanian people were kind of like, that just happens sometimes.
What's that?
It freaked us out. We were so
funny.
scared.
When it first happened, I was like, no, I think that's just somebody rowdy in the next room. And then it kept happening, and then things were shaking. I'm like, okay, that is definitely not some rowdy party in the next room. But that is something that they actually are a little bit less earthquake prone.
They're less earthquake prone than some of the other Balkan countries, which is part of why we went to Albania, because I am concerned about earthquakes. And apparently they're prone to frequent small tremors, which I'm sure is what we felt, but they don't get like really bad earthquakes.
Well, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching.
Have a wonderful day.
Like and subscribe and
if
comment.
you've been to Albania, or even if you haven't, or if you never ever even think of going but have another comment to leave, please, we'd be interested to know feedback. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.